Okay, so we are talking about understanding the conscious sun in human design. And today I do want to talk a little bit about individual people's charts when we have time. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started. So this is my chart. And if we look at the chart, I'm going to show you where the conscious sun is. So on the numbers on the left, the black column is where the planets were at the time I was born, and that's my conscious birth date. And then the red column is where the planets were approximately 3 months before I was born. I call that the unconscious birth date. So the conscious sun is up at the top of the column of numbers, and there it is, the 26, and we can see how it colors in black on the chart. So everybody knows how they can find the conscious sun on their own chart. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the energies of the conscious sun. So I think of the conscious sun as being the most important energy in the whole chart. So it is what you do in all areas of life. And when I learned this about my own chart, it really amazed me actually, because I saw that my conscious sun, which I'll talk more about a little bit later, was everywhere. In all areas of my life, I could see that this is an energy that is playing into my experience of life, what I'm doing, and how I'm interacting with people. So today I want to help you understand how this can be a way that you can look at and understand your own life a little bit better. So up at the top of the column of numbers, we have the 4 planets up at the top, and that's what we call the incarnation cross. So I think of the incarnation cross as being like the story of my life. In all areas, I can see that these 4 energies are coming to play. The most important of those is the conscious sun, which again, I point at here. So when we are talking about the incarnation cross and about the sun, this is really influential when it comes to my life purpose, what I am doing, why I'm here, and the gift I am here to give to the world. So when we look at your chart, understanding about your conscious sun as part of your incarnation cross can help you understand why you're here, what your gift is, the contribution you are here to make. And a lot of the people that I do readings for, a significant reason why they are seeking a human design reading is because they want to know, why am I here? What's my purpose? What is my gift? So looking at the conscious sun helps you to be able to understand that. I think of the conscious sun as being the lens through which I look at everything going on in the world. So it's like, if I imagine having these glasses on, this is like the conscious sun. I can't see anything in the world unless I'm looking through this lens. I'm always looking through these glasses, and it's like the conscious sun is a filter for my experience. I see positive aspects of the conscious sun and not so positive aspects of the conscious sun. I'm going to have experiences in my life that are both positive and not so positive from the perspective of the conscious sun. And I think of the conscious sun as being like a filter, like these glasses, like the lens, right? So it's not possible for me to take this filter away as not being an influence. So understanding when you're looking at your life experience, whether it be positive or not so positive, how is my conscious sun coming into play? How is that influencing my perception of what it is that I'm seeing, what it is that's going on? So let's talk about my own conscious sun here. My conscious sun is the gate 26. So I think of this as being the energy of truth and integrity, or the absence of truth and integrity, the presence of truth and integrity, or sometimes the absence of truth and integrity. And when I realized this about my life, it made absolute sense, because in my world, things are either right or they're wrong, right? The presence or the absence of truth and integrity. And for me and the things that I am doing in the world, the ways in which I feel like I am contributing into the world, I always want to be helping people. I want to help people have their lives be better, have them be healthier and happier. I mean, I've been a massage therapist for 25 years. And so I am always striving to have there be more truth and integrity in people's health, in their bodies, in their approach to their lives. But also, what a lot of times I am really aware of is how truth and integrity are absent when it comes to health. I notice when something maybe is wrong, not necessarily the way I want it to be. There's not as much truth and integrity as I might like there to be for myself or for my clients. People come to me when they are not happy with what's going on in their health, what's not going on the way they want it to be in their body. They might have pain or discomfort or something going on with their health or their life that's not the way they want it to be. So it's like people come to me with issues associated with their own lack of truth and integrity in their life, and they want to have more of that. So by giving my gift to the people that I'm working with doing body work, because I'm a massage therapist, right? I am helping people through the gifts that I have. I am helping people have more truth and integrity in their body, more truth and integrity in their experience of themselves and their life. I can also look at that from the perspective of human design. People come to me for human design readings when their life maybe is not necessarily always going the way they want it to. They wish they were more satisfied with what they were doing, or they're struggling with their relationships or things going on in their life, and they want to make more sense of it. They want to say, like, why am I here? Or why am I struggling so much? Or why am I not getting the opportunities that I want? In their experience, there is an aspect of their life that is not having as much truth and integrity in it as they would like. There is something that they would like about their life to have it be better or more the way they want it to be. They want to be happier. They want to feel like there's more, from my perspective, truth and integrity in their experience. But I also really notice what's going on in the world, okay? So I think of this lens as also influencing not just my personal life and not just influencing the lives of the people who I have come to me. This is also a lens through which I look on what's happening in my relationships, right? So it's like somebody may be having something going on in their life, and in their interactions with me, I might feel like there is truth and integrity or an absence of truth and integrity in my relationship. They may be coming to me with those issues or not, right? So it's like if I see something going on with someone in my family, I might think that there's absence of truth and integrity there, and I might want to do something about it. Or even if I'm not doing something about it, it's something that I notice. It's something that might bother me, that I might be unhappy about what's going on there, okay? This lens also applies when I am looking at things in my wider community, not just me and my family and my household and the people in my immediate sphere, but I also apply this lens when I'm looking at what's going on in my wider community, the community where I live. There might be things going on in my community that I think are really good and that are helping people, that are helping the community. And so I'm seeing truth and integrity in my community environment. But there also might be things going on in my community environment that I don't think are good, that I don't like what is happening. And so to me, there is an absence of truth and integrity in what I'm seeing in my immediate community around me. Another area where this lens comes into play, and you will see this going on when you understand your own conscious sun as well, is this applies to what I am seeing going on in the wider world. Politically, in terms of the country, when it comes to the planet, right? So it's like everything I am looking at going on around me, my immediate environment and the whole world, I am looking at it from the perspective of my conscious sun, right? So it's like when I look at what's going on in the government, I am not always happy about what I see the government doing. And I might think, oh, you know, what they are doing is not necessarily for the best of my community, my country, and the world. So a lot of times when I'm talking to people and doing readings for them, I'm helping them recognize ways in which their conscious sun and that lens, that pair of glasses they wear, is identifying things going on out in the world that are either positively or not so positively aspects of their conscious sun. I can also see things going on in the world that I think is really helping people, helping the environment, helping contribute to health, contributing to the availability of healthy food. So it's like I see that there has been a big increase in farmers markets and small farmers growing healthy food, organic food, and making it available to people in the community. So that's a movement that I see happening in the world that I think of as being positive. That's a step that's moving in a direction that is making more healthy food available for more people, and having more healthy food being raised in the world, and that's only going to serve the environment, the people, the community, and everything in general. So it's like I am going to look at things in the world from the perspective of, is it making things better? Is it making things healthier? Is it contributing to people getting along, peace in the world? And what's really going to be in my face sometimes is where I feel like truth and integrity is absent, where things are not going the way I wish they were. So it's like something that has really been bothering me lately is what I see going on within the environment. So off the coast of Florida, there's all kinds of wildlife that has been dying because of all of the agricultural chemicals that get dumped off into the ocean. And the just the pollution in the ocean and the death of all of the life that's in the ocean is just this big thing that's in my face about how truth and integrity in the environment is really missing, that we humans are not doing things in a way that is really contributing to the betterment of the world and healing and things going right on the planet. And that human influence, from my perspective, is really missing in truth and integrity. So it's like those are some of the ways in which I see my conscious sun really influencing how I perceive what's going on in the world, where truth and integrity is being increased or decreased. It's being more created or drawn back, partly because of human activity. So it's like when I recognize that the conscious sun is playing in all areas of my life, it helps me to understand more about myself and how I am in the world. So when you are able to understand your own conscious sun at this level of depth, it can help make sense of yourself and your life experience. And when I recognize that when I am more consciously expressing my conscious sun, then I recognize that I am really contributing my gift to society in a world that is more fulfilling and satisfying to me. So it's like in my work as a massage therapist, I recognize that I am helping people have more truth and integrity in their life. And now that I know that about myself, I recognize that I am giving my gift in that way. It just helps me be more conscious and aware of when I am giving my gift. Okay. So we're going to look at charts for a whole bunch of time today. And hopefully we're going to be able to go through quite a few charts. So I am going to exit there and stop sharing my screen for a second. How do I get back to the chat? Is that here? Kristen, how do I get back to the chat? I mean, back to the...
Just do stop share at the bottom.
Stop share. I don't know how to do that. Oh, stop share.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a bunch of people whose charts that I have pulled up. And if these people are with us live, then I will prioritize your charts to look at. And there's also someone named Gavin whose chart I added as well. So if you are with us live, let us know that. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen because I have a couple of celebrity charts to share first. Okay. So this is Oprah Winfrey. And if we look at Oprah's conscious sun, she's got the gate 19 as her conscious sun. And so the gate 19, if you look at the square at the bottom, that's the root center. And coming off the right side of the root center is the gate 19. So the gate 19 is what I think of as being the most sensitive gate in the chart. So people with the gate 19 can be sensitive to foods, to chemicals, to substances, to medications. They can be sensitive to people and their energies. They can be sensitive to ideas. People with the gate 19 are just sensitive to a lot of different things. So when I think of Oprah and
can you show us Oprah's chart?
You can't see it?
I can't see it. I can see live life fully.
Oh, I didn't share screen.
I might be able to show it. You're doing Oprah, right?
Yeah, but
oh yeah, perfect. I see it now. Wait, you lost it. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, there it is. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't have it set right. Okay, so so the gate 19 is coming off the right side of the root center at the bottom. Okay, so this is the gate of the energy for sensitivity. So thinking about what Oprah does, okay, she helps people. She brings people onto her show, and she is sensitive to what is going on in the world. She's sensitive to what is going on in people's lives, and she helps other people be more conscious and aware of themselves, their lives, and how they can contribute, right? So it's like she works with the people that she brings into her audience, and she works with the world in a very conscious way to help everyone have more sensitivity and awareness to what's going on in people's lives in the world. And she helps educate everyone else about the things that are happening in the world and in people's lives. She really wants to make a difference for people, contribute to people. through the awareness that she helps the world to have, right? So she helps everyone become more sensitive to the things that are going on in our lives and in the world. Okay, so that's Oprah. I also have Prince, a musician. So I looked him up today, and to see how the gate 35 is showing up. So if you look at the throat center, which is the brown square near the top of the chart, okay, you have the gate 35 coming off the right side of it. So this is a gate that is about people who are good at a lot of things, people who have a lot of skills and abilities. That's the gate 35. So one thing about having the gate 35 is a conscious sun, okay, and there are people who submitted their charts who have the gate 35, okay. These people are going to be good at a lot of different things. But another thing about the gate 35 is the gate 35 can get bored sometimes with doing the same thing. They want to be doing different things, trying different things, okay? And in this case, the gate 35 is also connected to the gate 36 in Prince's chart, okay? So it's like this is energy for experimenting, for trying things, okay? But people with the gate 35 are going to be good at a lot of different things, get tired with doing the same thing all the time, okay? So it's like if we look at Prince as a musician and as an artist, okay, when I looked him up today, he plays a lot of different instruments. He's good at a lot of different instruments and a lot of different things when it comes to music. And if we look at Prince's musical career, right, he was like on the edge of what is conventionally accepted, right? So on the edge of spirituality, on the edge of creativity. He was making music that was pushing the boundaries of what was known and accepted in the musical realm. Okay, so it's like a lot of experimentation, not doing the same old kind of music that's always been done by everyone else in terms of both his music and his appearance. He was like way out on the edge. Okay, so we can see that the conscious sun is playing out in how Prince appeared in the world and in his artistry. Okay, but again, this being good at things and being on the edge, experimentation, being bored with the same old thing, that would have applied in all areas of life, not just in what we saw him as a public figure. Okay, now let's see if we have, I want to see the chat. Okay. Let's see, who do we have?
So Gavin is here.
Okay, Gavin's here.
Out of the list.
Anybody else?
No one else from the people that you randomly selected, but they will probably catch the replay. But other people have submitted their chart just very recently, and they're asking if they can submit it now. But I don't think we're going to be able to get anyone who's submitted their chart, well, you know.
I'll look at the ones that I have selected.
Okay.
Just to go with that for now. Okay, so let's see. I think this one is Gavin. Okay, so we'll talk about Gavin first because Gavin's with us. Okay, so can we bring Gavin on so he can talk?
Yes, I can. And Gavin is a female.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I made that mistake, Gavin.
It's okay. It's
Are you there, Gavin?
All right, Gavin, I just promoted you to panelist, and I'm unmuting you.
Okay, I'm here.
Hi, Gavin.
Female and on.
So, looking at the gate 53 is your conscious sun.
Yes.
So, if you look at the root center, which is the square at the bottom, coming off the top of that is the gate 53. Do you see it?
Yes, that where the black is.
Yes. Okay. So the gate 53 is the gate of starting things. Yeah, you laugh. So you must start a lot of things. Is that true?
Yeah, I'd like to know where the gate to finish things is. Never mind.
Well, so if you look at the chart, okay, the gate 42, which is the one that is right above the gate 53,
Yeah,
you don't have the gate 42. Okay,
right.
that's the gate of finishing things.
Oh,
So
no.
an issue in your life might be starting things, but not necessarily always finishing them. Okay, so that might be a little bit of a challenge for you, and it sounds like that's consistent with your experience,
Yes, it is.
right? Okay, so now that you know that about yourself, okay, is this something that you have the tendency to beat yourself up about?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you know this about yourself, that you're designed to start things, but not necessarily always finish them, okay, when you have the tendency to beat yourself up about it, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have that gate of finishing things, okay? Part of my gift is starting things, okay? So it's like sometimes you just need to, make a point of actually finishing, right? So it's like
Yes.
everyone has everything in the chart. So even though the gate of finishing things is not defined in your chart, you can still finish things. It just might take some extra focus and intention, right, to finish things, but to understand that this could be an inherent challenge for you to have in your design.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It is the way it is. I can finish things, but it's going to take me more effort than
Yes. Yes.
just having it done.
And we got an interesting question, Sandra, that I want to make sure you address, because I think we have another manifestor on the call saying, hey, but I'm not designed to finish things. I'm a manifester.
Yes. Well, so I'm a manifestor too. Okay. So it's like we can start things, initiate things, but not necessarily always finish them, but sometimes we can finish. Okay.
I mean, if especially now that I'm living alone at the moment, my house is full of half-finished things, and this is not a healthy, necessarily environment to be in when it gets to that extent.
Yes.
But I also have, I see that if I take conscious effort from what you're saying, just recognize it, say, okay, this is the way I'm built. This is my design. Now I want to get this finished, so put more effort into it.
Exactly.
And
Well,
I have another question for you with this, which is, since this is my conscious sun, how does this affect the way I see the world?
you're going to see things starting. You might also notice when things aren't being finished, right?
Oh.
And that might bother you. Or you might also see where something where something needs to be started, right? So it's like you're a manifester, right? So it's like you can see things going on in the world that are necessary, where something needs to be started over there.
Okay.
Does that happen for you?
Yes, I see where it is in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, you might notice where the starting of things is missing.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You might also notice where things are being started that are good. You might notice where things are being started that are not so good.
Yeah.
You might notice a trend starting that's like, oh, that's going the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
So, but just noticing, okay? So it's like when you, it sounds like you're retired. When you were doing your work, what was it you were doing?
It depends upon which period of my life you're talking about. I was a yoga and Sufi teacher. I was a weaver. I was a musician. I was also a massage therapist.
Okay, so could you see ways in which you were starting things in those professions?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like when you're doing yoga, right? You're starting poses all the time. You're starting a class. You're starting yourself and other people on the road to health.
Yeah.
You're starting increasing balance.
Yeah.
Right? When you're a massage therapist, right, it's like there's all sorts of things that you could be starting.
Yeah.
Right? You're starting people on a new path. You're starting people understanding things, right? So it's like when you look at whatever it is you're doing in life, can you see ways in which you're starting things?
Well, yes, and also now that I'm in a situation where I haven't been able to move, to travel for 4 years, I can see that I'd like to start off on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really missing that.
Yes, and it sounds like you're aware of starting things is not as active as you would like it to be.
Yes.
So it's like you can see that in your experience, there is, in some cases, an absence of starting.
Well, yes, and I just realized a few days ago after something that in my house I can move things around, and that's the process of starting anew, like moving the flower arrangements around.
Yes.
It to me it causes freshness, but from what you're saying in the application of my design, I'm starting something fresh.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So, and you can look at anything and everything from the perspective of what is started, what needs to be started, where is starting missing, right? And you might be doing exactly, you might.
I was just laughing because I was thinking how many times I've started a diet and didn't.
Yes, oh yes, right?
Yeah.
And you can notice
Yeah.
that when you're doing something that is interacting with other people, right, you can be more conscious about how you are making your contribution by recognizing how starting things is playing into it, right?
Yes.
Might
I was just about to send a message to Kristen and Cindy about something they might want to start.
Yes, right? And what you do might be exactly the same as what you were doing before, but just shifting the awareness to, oh, I'm starting something here, right? That helps you be more conscious in giving your gift.
Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. I do.
What actually happens might not change at all. But with your awareness to, I'm giving my gift, helps it feel more satisfying.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
So it's
it reinforces the positivity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it's like, think about an interaction that you have with someone in your life. Do you have a relationship in your life that you could bring to mind?
Yes.
And think about an interaction that you would be having with this person.
Okay.
What might you be doing with them?
Working on his house.
So how is what you're doing with him in that interaction starting something?
Well, that's not a good example for me to take. Because it's his house and we're all doing whatever he starts.
Well,
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
okay.
but you don't have to be the one that initiates the starting, right? If you're helping him clean up a room, you're starting something.
Right.
You're starting it together, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you could say, well, let's start with that, right? So it's like you are just an influence in the starting of something.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Appreciate your jumping up to volunteer.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. So let's look at another chart.
And one comment about that, Leslie said, finishing things can require informing people. and getting a partner to help.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the charts that I chose was Jennifer's, and I chose it for a particular reason. Okay, so Jennifer's conscious sun is the gate 58, the gate of joy of life. Okay, so if we look at the root center, we're down at the root center again, down at the bottom, the 58 comes off the left side. Okay, so Jennifer is going to have a perspective of looking at things of joy of life. She will want to do things that contribute to there being more joy of life. She will want to be having more experiences where she is having joy of life. Other people are having joy of life. She just wants people to be happy and everyone to have joy. Okay? What might be really up in her consciousness, however, could also be the absence of joy of life. People being unhappy, herself being unhappy, the world being unhappy, right? So this is both a real gift for herself and the world, but it also is potentially a place where there could be a lot of challenges because there's a lot of things going on in the world that are not necessarily always, again, making things better, not necessarily always helping people be happy and have more joy. So for her, and there are other people who submitted their charts who have the gate 58 as their conscious sun, right? To be aware of when there is in my awareness an absence of joy of life, or the things that are happening are not necessarily always creating joy of life. I just want everybody to be happy. I want there to be joy for everyone, right? To recognize, oh, I maybe am being stuck in this experience of a challenge to joy of life. There's not necessarily a furtherance to joy of life and people being happy, people having what they want, things getting better. Okay? So when in this position of having joy of life or the absence of life being such an important focus, okay, when Jennifer notices herself being stuck in the experience of the challenging aspect of this, all I can pay attention to is how joy of life is missing. There's something wrong here, right? To recognize, oh, I'm stuck in this focus on a challenging aspect of my conscious sun. How can I choose to turn the coin over and look at the positive side here? Where can I identify some joy? How can I do something that is increasing the amount of joy? How can I contribute to there being more joy, right? So there is the potential with this conscious sun to get stuck in the challenging aspect. For myself and the truth and integrity, I can get really stuck in looking at what's going on in the world as there's something wrong here. Truth and integrity is missing. Jennifer can get stuck in joy of life is not being created here, right? So when we notice ourselves being stuck in a challenging aspect of the conscious sun or anything in the chart, realizing that that's what's going on and choosing to do what I say call turn the coin over and look at the positive side. How can I look for there being more joy? For me, how can I look at there being more truth and integrity? For Jennifer, what can I do to create more of an experience of joy for myself, for the world? For me, how can I do something that for me has more of an experience of truth and integrity, making things better? What can I do in the world that contributes to there being more truth, joy? Okay, so that's Jennifer's. Let's talk about Alex. Here's another one of the charts that I chose. Okay, so Alex's conscious sun is the gate 41. And all three of the charts that I'm looking at today are root charts. Okay, so root center down at the bottom is the gate 41. This is the gate of dreams and fantasy, right? So Alex is going to focus on, well, what is it I'm creating? What is it I want to do in the world? What is my dream? What is my vision? What is it that I want to do? Why am I here? How am I making a big contribution? Right? Going to have that broad picture of what is the goal? What is the dream? She, he or she might, imagine, what is it I'm creating? What's it feel like? What does it look like? What sorts of things am I going to be doing when I am living out this dream? But again, what Alex might be aware of sometimes is where the dream is not happening. Alex's own dreams might not, might be running into roadblocks. Alex is a projector, and so sometimes projectors might have the experience that there aren't enough invitations, and so Alex might get frustrated at the dream just not seeming to happen in the way that Alex wishes it would. Okay, so recognizing that is a potential challenge of this chart, right? It's like, I've got my dream, I've got my vision, I've got my goal, but what's happening? And it could also be that Alex is really good at taking that dream and turning it into reality in the world. Okay, let's find a chart to look at that is not a root chart. Let's see. Oh, here, we've got Aylin. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Aylin. Okay, so Aylin's conscious sun is the gate 20. Okay, and you've got the 3420. So the 3420 is the busiest channel in the chart. So Aylin might have the experience that he or she is just always busy, always doing things, always making things happen. And Aylin is going to be someone who, with the gate 20, likes to empower people, likes to help people be in the right place, doing the right thing that works for them, that is really serving the world. Aylin may be good at seeing where everyone fits, where everyone is making their best contribution, and really helping people to get into positions where they're doing things that are most fulfilling and most empowering for them. But again, Aylin might also have the experience that sometimes people are not doing the right things. Aylin may feel like sometimes they're not, he or she is not doing the right things, because there's all this focus on the gate 20 and empowerment and being in the right place, doing the right thing. And so Aylin might sometimes have the experience that he or she is not in the right place, doing the right thing, and that might be frustrating. Let's look at another one.
Yeah, I know Aylin is one of our international clients, so she told me she was gonna catch the replay. She's hoping you randomly selected her chart, so it's.
I did.
I will email her and let her know.
Okay. So we also have Aline. Aline has I'm assuming this is a female. Her conscious sun is the gate 29. So the gate 29 comes off the top of the sacral center, which is the second square from the bottom. Sacral center is undefined here. So the 29 is the gate of commitment and determination. So Aline might get committed to all sorts of things, might get committed to projects, to causes, to relationship, to people, to, all sorts of things, might get committed to anything and everything, and might get really determined as well, right? So it's like, I am going to make this happen. This is going to be, okay? Now, what might also happen is Aline might find that the things that she gets committed to and determined about might not always turn out the way she wants them to, right? She might feel like her commitment and determination get blocked. that she might get stuck in not being able to get the things that she wants to do in the world into reality. And again, Aline is another projector. So maybe feeling like the invitations aren't there to be able to take the things that she's committed to and getting them into something actually happening in the world. She might notice when the things that the people in the world are determined to make happen might or might not be what Aline is committed to or believes in. And so that might be something that Aline gets challenged around. Okay. All right. Let's talk about close this. There is a workshop that we are going to be having on September 20th, which is Thursday next week, 11 to 1 Pacific time, which is 1 to 3 Central time, I believe. And so we're going to be going into more depth about the conscious sun. So hopefully we will have time to really get into more about people's charts. Part of what I want to focus on with this is, that's not showing up, is looking at the challenging aspects, both looking at the positive aspects and the challenging aspects, and do a little bit of problem solving for people. So help people if they are stuck in challenging aspects of their own conscious sun experience to how can we turn it around to having a more positive perspective, a more positive experience. How can I more consciously create something positive or what I want when I'm having this experience of being stuck in what can be a dark or challenging aspect of the conscious sun. So does anybody have any questions about that? I'm going to stop sharing. Oops. Anybody have any questions?
I'm not seeing any questions about the just people still posting their conscious suns. Were there any conscious gate 1 for sun? No question about acknowledgement of the value of your insights. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Leslie.
I can just start talking about some of the conscious suns that are posted here. So
Okay, Sam.
the gate 1 is self-expression. So it's just really important for, I'm assuming JT, to be aware of expressing yourself. And in expressing yourself, you're making a contribution. Now, sometimes you might have the experience that you're not being heard, you're not able to express yourself, and just to recognize that that is a challenging aspect that you might have. 49, I did have a chart for the 49. I didn't actually talk about it. The 49 car, maybe that's Karen. 49 is rules, regulations, requirements, standards. So you're going to have a perspective of are things being done the way they should be? Are they not being done the way they should be? Are we following the rules or not following the rules? So 49, you might get stuck in shoulds. I know I certainly do that. Right? This is the way things should be. This is the way things should go. And they might or might not be going that way, which can be frustrating. Carrie has the 15. So the 15 is a gate that's about nature and patterns, but about extremes. So Carrie, you might notice different ways of doing things, different ways that things might be done. You may be able to, you might like having a routine, but you can change it up, right? So gate 15 can change things up, have different ways of doing things and approaching things. 63 is logic. And being able to understand and explain things logically, but sometimes you might also feel pressure to be able to explain things and not necessarily always being able to explain things, which might be challenging. 34 is going to be busy. You're always going to be busy, going, nonstop, going, and sometimes you might get burnt out from too much doing. But as a 34 with the conscious sun, you're just always going to be going. But it could also be that sometimes you're not going. You might get worn out and not be able to go. That might get stuck. 24, I think of 24 as being like a filter. 24 takes all of the information that comes into the head center, the center of the top, and it filters through everything and figures out what works and what doesn't work, what's practical and what's not practical. So I have a friend who's got a 24 conscious sun, and she is always filtering things, figuring out where things go, where things don't go, what fits, what doesn't fit, making it practical.
Awesome. And Sandra, in the Q&A, which is a little different than the chat, someone's asking, how will your class be different? What other value will it add? This is great content. Thank you so much.
I want to, in the class, focus on helping people when they are in the challenging dark aspect of their sun, how to have practical ways to turn it around. So I want to go a little bit more in depth into some of people's conscious suns and provide some practical strategies for them to take into their life.
And is registration limited to a certain amount of people?
Is there a limit to how many people can be on the Zoom?
No.
I'm going to say no, as many people can be. We won't be able to get to everybody's charts, I mean, just realistically. Right? But I do want to spend a little bit more time with the charts that we do talk about, and then actually get in a little bit into challenging aspects if people have them, challenges that people are experiencing.
Awesome. And this, of course, the Zoom class will be recorded, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's $47 for the class, just to help, deal with all of the things that it takes to make this happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sorry we weren't able to get to everybody's today. Let's talk about the 44. The 44 is the gate of the past and learning from the past, taking what is known from the past and benefiting from the past. But people with gate 44 can also get stuck in issues with the past, coming from the perspective of the past, not being able to get out of the past. And they can also be afraid that the past is going to repeat itself. And so if you're getting stuck, Lainey, in fear about repeating the past, you kind of just have to recognize that that's what's going on and get past it anyway.
Okay, and then someone says, her conscious sun is a 49 line 5, and she saw one of the charts was 49 line 2. What does that mean? Is that significant?
Well, so both the 2 and the 5 are profiles, right? And so the profile is kind of like how a significant aspect of how you go about life. You're going to experience that all from the perspective of your conscious sun. So it's like the line 5 is universalizer. And so taking what you have found to be valuable, and you like spreading it around and helping other people benefit from it. So it's like for the 49, 49 is about rules, ways of doing things. So it's like you might like taking the way that you think is the best way to do something and help everyone to do it that way. So it's like, that's like 49 from a line 5 perspective. Any other questions other than conscious sun gate stuff?
Are you going to be talking about that in the class, the profiles, or just the conscious sun?
We might, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people wanting to look at their charts, so probably won't get too much into the profile aspect of it. If people want to have an actual reading of their chart, then all of that stuff can go into in a lot more depth. But in the class, my goal is going to be able to look at more people's charts rather than go too far into any one chart.
And are you looking at unconscious or only conscious?
I'm only going to look at the conscious. I'm only going to look at the conscious. I mean, like, unconscious obviously is important, but I look at the conscious sun as being the single strongest influence in the chart. So I always, well, it's like when I send people their chart, I tell them one thing about it. Very frequently, it relates to the conscious sun, because I think the conscious sun is such an essential part of the person's experience that it's going to flavor everything.
All right, and we probably only have time for one more. I just want to grab one from Facebook.
Okay.
Gate 14.
The gate 14 is the gate of producing resources. So producing resources means making money. Resources is also food, housing, house, shelter, clothing, skills and abilities, right? So somebody with the gate 14 in their sun may really like working, first of all, but they may also love cooking. They might like arranging the house. Those are all producing resources kinds of things.
Okay, and I said 14, but actually meant 16. I'm sorry.
Well, so 16 is the gate of enthusiasm.
Okay.
So it's like getting into things and being enthusiastic and having a lot of skills and abilities and things like that. That's gate 16.
Okay, thank you. All right, that was awesome.
That was fun. Yay. And I look forward to having some of you in the class next week.
Yeah, and we'll send we'll have a replay on Saturday morning, and it'll have information to sign up for Sandra's class. And if y'all have any other questions, of course, we'll have a way to contact Sandra and ask her yourself. And thank you all for being on the call. It was wonderful.
Yay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.